The Nikon D600 has a unique feature, user settings, which are called U1 and U2. In the past, you had specific banks, shooting menu banks and custom settings banks, which you could set up. These user settings simplify those and place them right on the mode dial for easy access. More specifically, U1 and U2 are groups of frequently used settings which you can set all together in a certain way. In other words, you can set U1 to a specific group of settings and U2 to a specific group of settings, and every time you turn your mode dial to U1 or to U2, your camera will remember those settings and use them. Handy, right? Let's go through the list of settings that you can include in these user settings. You can choose your exposure mode, set exposure and flash compensation, flash mode, focus point, metering, autofocus and autofocus area modes, bracketing, and settings in the shooting and custom settings menus. There are a few things in the shooting and custom settings menus that will not be included though. Those are the storage folder, file naming, image area, manage picture control, multiple exposure, or interval timer shooting. To set U1 and U2, you set up your camera the way you want. Remember though that only the list of things that I mentioned will be saved. Once you have your settings the way you want them, you go into the Setup menu and to Save User Settings, then to Save to U1 or Save to U2, then Save Settings. If you wanted to get rid of those settings, you can go to the next menu item, which is Reset User Settings. You can reset either U1 or U2 to the default values. Now, every time I move the mode dial to U1 or U2, all those settings that I chose are recalled. These user settings are handy things to have set up for when you want to make a bunch of settings adjustments quickly. For example, I could have one set for the settings that I typically start out with for studio portraits, and one set up for the way that I start out for landscapes. That way, I simply flip the switch and make small adjustments from there. To see my larger tour of the entire setup menu or my tours of the other D600 menus, follow these links. And of course, let me know if you have any questions.